Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Live Boldly with Sarah. Today we're going to talk about, or I'm going to share with you a story that happened yesterday when I was on a flight from Madison to Los Angeles, and I ran into a really unhappy, unkind, miserable human on the plane when I was trying to get off in Minneapolis and catch my connecting flight. You don't want to miss what she said to me. And how can we bring more kindness into this world? And how, when we wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or we're in this, perhaps, I don't know, this place of just being angry, right? Like sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bed and we're having a bad day. How can we switch our attitude or change how we are feeling to be more kind? Because ultimately, here's the thing. When I was in the situation yesterday, because this just happened yesterday morning. When I was in the situation yesterday, I was thinking to myself, what causes most problems in this world? What is it? What is the one thing, if we had to like really dial it all the way down to what is the one thing in this world that causes so much friction between humans, so much angst, so much anger, sadness, resentment? And it's kindness. It's the fact that so many people cannot seem to be kind. It's hard for us to switch when we are in that place of, I'm just so mad at the world. I'm just so mad at how my life is going. It can be really difficult to switch that, right? And to pivot into becoming more of a kind human being. So, where I really wanted to dive into this episode today was, first of all, even just establishing that, right? Even just like bringing up the fact that so many people are miserable, right? There's so many people in this world that are miserable. I read a post on LinkedIn recently by this guy that I've been following. I don't remember if it was Darren that might have wrote it. I don't remember. Anyhow, Darren Moss, super cool guy on LinkedIn to go follow. It's one of them wrote down, and they started their post with, I don't like people. And of course, that was the hook to the post, which made me laugh. Of course, I had to read more, right? Like, who doesn't love people? I love people. And then it started going down, and he was saying how he just doesn't like it when people are not kind, right? And how the people that are out to get you or out to throw mud or are, whatever it is, cause problems and drama and trauma and all the things. He said, those aren't the people that I like. Those are not my people. And I love that. Those are not my people. And so, and then he kept going down into this post and he was saying how who he does love, right? The people that he does love are the people that are kind, are nurturing, are happy, are, all of the things. Well, how do we go from being unkind humans to more kind humans, right? How do we go back to bed and get up on the other side? As my mother used to say to me when I would wake up in the morning and I was not in a very good mood. And she'd say, go back to bed, get up on the other side. And so I want to dive into that as well. First, though, I want you to be kind to yourself. And we are offering a retreat in July that will allow you to do just that. And so don't miss this. We are filling spots right now. Florence Williams and I are running a retreat together. She's a best-selling author of Heartbreak and The Nature Fix. In fact, she used to be somebody that I was like, I mean, I used to research her. She was a mentor of mine. I love Florence so much. And then she reached out to me 2 years ago, I believe. We've been running this retreat this will be our third year together. She reached out to me 2 years ago and she said, hey, I've been watching you. I want to start running retreats. Would you run this retreat with me in the San Juan Mountains outside of Telluride? I have a very like deep, there's a meaningful space with me and Telluride. I have a connection to that place. And I said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I love Telluride. I'll only run retreats in places where I feel a deep connection to the space. People that know me, who have worked with me, who I've worked with, they know that about me. And so I said, absolutely. Are you kidding me? So this is our third year. The price has remained the same for 3 years. It's going up next year because the cost of these retreats can get to be quite a bit. And so I want you to come and join it with us. Like come into Telluride, come into the San Juan Mountains with us. We stay in a retreat center high up in the San Juans. It's a 3-night, 4-day retreat. It is absolutely amazing. It's 26th through the 29th, 26th, 27th. Yes, 26th through the 29th of July. We are feeling it right now. So if this is something that you are looking for to get some awe and some wonder into your life, to explore with Florence and myself, doing coaching, meditating, we hike into these amazing spots that you'd never get to otherwise. We jump into the little creeks. We sit in, oh my gosh, this incredible hot tub outside while the stars fall. And the hot tub is actually spring fed. And so it's just an incredible space to rejuvenate, to go and experience some camaraderie, have some community. It's all women. And so if this sounds like something you would like to do, please reach out to me, Sara at sarahschultencrans.com. We have 2 more calls today. So hopefully by the time that this releases, it is not filled up. And if you are interested, well, actually, I hope it is. I hope it is. And if for some reason you are listening to this and you're like, oh gosh, I wish I would have. Ooh, regret's a horrible thing. So reach out to me as soon as possible, Sara at sarahschultencrans.com, and let's schedule a call with you. That will bring some kindness into your life, kindness for self first. So let's dive into this. So yesterday I was getting off my flight I had flown from Madison to, which is obviously like, that's where I go all the time, spend time with my family and my dear friends. And I flew into Minneapolis. And as I was deplaning, I was in the back of the plane. Check that out. And as we were deplaning, I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, my next flight, my connecting is actually boarding. And if I don't get going, I'm going to miss my flight. And you know how you're in the back of the flight sometimes, and it just seems like it's taking forever for people to get off the plane? That's what was happening here. So there was a group of men standing in front of me that had time. I had overheard them say, we have so much time here. And I said to them, hey, could I squeeze around you, please? So I can catch my connecting flight. Do you mind? And I didn't have much stuff. I was being super kind myself. And all of a sudden, this woman who was sitting in the window seat, a few seats up, turns and looks at me and she said, no, you can't. You can't go ahead of everybody. And she was super, super rude. And I looked at her and I said, what? I was shocked. First of all, like, I don't know. It was 7 a.m. I get it. People can be a little bit cranky, but what? And I looked at her, I said, what? I said, I have a connecting flight and it's boarding right now and I'm going to miss it if I don't get to it because it's G17. I believe it was what gate it was. It was like super far away from the C gate that we had come into. And she said, no, she said, that's not my problem. That's none of our problems. If you miss your flight, that's your problem. Anybody that knows me knows the first thing I want to do is laugh, right? Like, I'm like, what? And I could feel like I could feel it right in my tummy and come all the way up through my body, this like tingly feeling of like, whoa, she's serious. Like, girl is not in a good mood. And I said to her, I said, most times when people are trying to catch connecting flights and it's that close in time, I said, most of the time people let other people off. I said, well, not even most, all the time. They let people off if they need to catch their connecting flight. And she said, no, they don't. No, they don't. You can wait just like everybody else. And she was so rude. And I know that I'm laughing right now. And I wanted to laugh at the moment, but I also knew that would not be good. So the woman sitting ahead of her turned around and looked at her like, oh my God, she's serious. Like this woman was ready for an all-out brawl. It's like she was looking for a brawl to get into at 7 a.m. And she looked at me, the woman sitting ahead of the rude woman, and she looked at me and she just said, just go. Don't worry about it. Just go. And I turned around and I looked at her and I just gave her the smile and I looked at the woman ahead of her and I said, thank you. I appreciate that. And I just grabbed my things and I walked out. But I'm going to tell you something. You could feel the tension in the plane as soon as that woman said, no, that's not my problem. That's none of our problems. If you miss your flight, you miss your flight. You could feel the tension around me of like, oh, what's going to happen? Nobody grabbed their phones and started recording. If they would have started to do that, I know that I would have then been like, peace out. Like, I'm not into that stuff. And I sat there like I was deplaning. I was getting off the flight and I did go around the people and I just went off because there were other people behind me as well, a family. And I wanted to, and this is what I was explaining to the family. I said, I want to let them know it's going to take you a little longer that you're coming, right? And so we were helping each other out. And as I was getting off that flight, I was thinking to myself, well, there were two things. Number one, when she said, that's not my problem, that's your problem, I was thinking how the fact that when people are unkind, when people cannot place themselves in another person's shoes and help another human out, how many more problems that causes in the world, rather than just stepping up and saying, yeah, no worries, like I don't have anywhere to get, go around everybody, you got to catch your flight, have a great day. First of all, like that's the first thing that sat with me as I was walking from gate C to gate G. And then the other thing that really sat with me was how miserable a human is internally, when how miserable they must be when they are lashing out and putting more of this energy, more of this being unkind into the world. And, for us to be our best personal leader, for us to show up as our best self in the world, you have to start with kindness with self. And when you are sitting with kindness with self, that allows us to then place more kindness into the world, into our teams, into our colleagues, into the work that we do, into those people that we meet every single day. That's how we touch the lives of those people that we are around every single day. And I just was walking, I was walking from gate C to G, thinking to myself, what is going on in that woman's life right now? Like, I'm going to tell you, I wanted to laugh, and I wanted to actually give her a piece of my mind. Those were the two things that I wanted to do, right? And I was like, it's 7 a.m. I got to catch my flight. Like, that's going to actually make me not catch my flight. And that wasn't worth it. Like, there was no energy in the world that was worth putting out into that, especially with so many people around and the repercussions of it, right? And at the same time, I was thinking to myself, what is going on in her life at this moment that she is sitting in that much angst, that much sadness, anger, whatever it is about the world, that she can become so self-centered, so selfish, to think that her kindness isn't worth, right? Like isn't even valid out in the world to create more kindness, that you can then create less problems, not only because that would have created, if she would have put that at the wrong person, that could have created a lot of problems for herself, right? And that's the other thing I was thinking to myself, man, she's lucky that it came to me and not to somebody else that could have thrown another problem right back at her, right? Created more problems. It just sat with me so deeply as I was walking from one gate to the next, and how kindness in this world is what allows us to become so much more happy, healthy, connected human beings. And who knows, like, I don't know what was going on in her life. How, though, can we bring more kindness into our life, especially when we wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Well, first of all, stop and ask yourself, what's going on in my life right now that I cannot seem to flip the switch to become more kind and happy to myself and to others? Just remember, there's this thing that I live by, right? This quote where whatever it is that I put out into the world is also what's going to come back to me. And so when you put more of this negative energy, when you place more of this angst or more of this anger out into the world, that's also what you can expect to receive. And that's why in that moment, I was like, oh, this is a test, especially at 7 a.m. when I hadn't had my coffee. This is a test of what am I going to place back to her, and what then is going to be received back to me. So as I walked from gate C to G, talking to a dear friend on the phone about it, and I was like, I just can't believe I just ran into that. What the heck? And he said to me, it's all about kindness. Like, let's just be more kind. Let's shift the energy. Let's think about what do we want in our life, right? Like, what do we want? We want more kindness. And so think about what can you send to her, right? That ultimately is going to be sent back. And truly, I really hope, I really, really hope that the day that she is sitting in the back of the plane and she needs to catch her next flight, her next connection, and she realizes, wow, if I simply step up and ask, like kindly ask, hey, can I go around you so I can catch my flight? I really hope, I really pray that she runs across the people, not karma, more like good karma, that actually says to her, of course you can. Go around me, catch your flight, and I hope you have a wonderful day, because that's what we do for others. That's what I hope for that woman. Because and for all people that are experiencing anger and whatever it is in their life, when we can spread a little bit more kindness into other people's lives, hopefully they will spread more kindness out into the world as well. So that's my hope for her. So when you are waking up on the wrong side of the bed, be more kind to yourself. Sit with, what is it that's causing me to be this way? And then ask yourself, is this really worth it? Go out and spread some kindness into the world, and I promise you it will be spread back into yours as well, into your life. So with that, if you are interested in joining our retreat in July, remember, Sara is sarahschultingkranz.com. Bring a little more awe, wonder, connection, community, love. Get out into nature, into the San Juan Mountains. I promise you this place is like nothing you've ever experienced before. It is absolutely one of the most gorgeous retreat centers I've ever experienced. This is our third year of running it, Florence Williams and myself. We love the women who have been a part of this already. Limit 12, it is filling. I have 2 more calls today. Let's jump into a call with you and see if it's the right fit. With that, please go subscribe, rate, review this podcast episode, get it out into the world. Be kind, please, to our Live Boldly podcast. Spread this into the world. And if you could be so kind also, after you subscribe, rate, and review, and you share it with your friends, go in and put it into your social media, tag myself at Sara Schulting Kranz, and I will reshare it in my stories and in my own feed as well. So much love, so much kindness to each and every one of you. And thank you for being here. If you have any podcast episodes that you would like me to, or podcast guests that you would like me to have on, please send me a message as well. And I will gladly touch on those subjects for all of you, my dear community. Thank you for being here.